Morning Discord, morning YouTube. Let's get into it. Give me 1 second. I just need to get everything set up. Okay, we had some good economic news. And then now let's see if we get a pullback. Let's see, we're looking to see if we're going to get a fake out here, right? You see the major all-time highs. We're looking to see if we get a fake out. We kind of missed our entry underneath the pink already. Well, I know I did. I missed my entry underneath pink, so just gonna have to wait for the next setup. And now my brokerage changed up some junk. All right, let's see what we got. All right. So we see we're already starting to test this liquidity right here. So let's see if we get underneath it. If we break a retest underneath this liquidity level. So we see the two ranges that we're targeting, right? Either up here or below here. So let's just be patient. This might be a momentum candle, this opening candle. We just got below the water on the on the 1 minute. Let's look at the 5 minute. The 5 minute says we might be starting a bear cycle, but we're very high above the water. So we got to watch out for a bolt. Our 30 minute, oh, I didn't put the range here. Okay. So if we get down to this pink 652.22, I want to see if we reject off of it for a continuation up. Or let's see if we start rejecting underneath this pink 52.22. 52.22 will be around here. So I'll put another, we'll mark it off. What did I say, 22? Oh no, we'll leave it pink actually. All right, see what we got. So we know what pattern we see here, right? Or what we're looking out for. We're either looking out for this, right? We're looking out for this, because this will be our continuation down. Or we want to watch out for this right here. So we'll know what's going to happen if we get somewhere back up towards this pink 54.23, or if we get below 52.41. So it's either going to be one of those two things. Either we're going to, or here's the third option. We just stay in the range. So the range for today is going to be wide. Look at your 30 minute. Yeah, your 30 minute has a really wide range. It goes from 54.82 to 52.22, so 2-point range. So if we start, look, like on a smaller time scale, right? You need to start seeing, are we starting to reject off of this level of liquidity here? See, this is the liquidity over here to the left. are we rejecting off of this level here for continuation up? All right, so here's what we want to look out for. I'm going to clean up the chart really quick. You see what's happening here. Just clean up the chart. All right, so if it wants to go up, are we seeing the rejection off of this liquidity to push us up? Now, if this is true, you might see a little shoulder forming here. So let's look to see if we get a shoulder, because this shoulder is going to tell us if we get some strength to at least get us to top of the range here to 60. What is it? 54.23. Now we want to see if we start this bull cycle here. I'll be right back. Don't overtrade. Let these candles, these high volatile candles, clear themselves out. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. This could be forming a really ugly bolt down here, so this is a 50-50 area. Let this range clear itself out. I'm gonna clean up this chart. See if we got anything we can use. All right, watch out for if we close this cup. You see how volatile this magenta is. So just give it a second, let all this volatility calm itself down. We don't always have to be in a trade. We have to wait for our setups to present itself. Especially early morning candles, you got to wait for this stuff to settle out. We're gonna test to see if magenta is gonna be our up for the day. I'll give it a 2 for right now. So I gave magenta a 2 because it's early and I'd like more data, but we still could have this playing out. So if it does break, retest this magenta, that'll be a pretty good setup. But it looks, you know, you see all the candles, how they're kind of barcoding. So you got to be careful with your stops if it does happen. But while we're still in this range, look at the 30-minute range. While we're still in that range, it's up to you if you want to take the risk. When did you buy a call? Down here? When did you buy your call? At what time? When it's paper on the line, anything goes. Oh, yesterday. Oh, okay. Oh, you got it yesterday. Oh man, you're eating nice now. Here was that ugly bolt down I may have been talking about. Oh, we'll see. Just give it a second. We're literally going sideways, right? Opening candle, we're just going sideways. We're at the 50-50 here. This is either going to break down or up. And then measure risk to reward, right? You see where your liquidity levels are, so let's mark it out. We got one up here. And we got one down here. So let's look for the fade. Now let's see if we get a weak bull cycle here. Let's see if we grab it. What do you call it? Let's see if we grab some liquidity off VWAP for a push down. It's sideways. We're doing nothing. We haven't done anything yet. We're just going sideways. We're stuck in between these two liquidity levels. Remember, magenta has a 2 on it, confidence level 2. Okay. Okay, let's see if we just grab some liquidity. If we retested this liquidity level to grab it to push up. Okay. Okay. So let's test magenta here. Didn't close, so let it close. Now, if we close above this magenta here, just starting our bull cycle, the only thing I don't like is we're still within opening candle, but okay, we didn't close, right? So let's wait for the close. Don't front run it. You gotta wait for the close. See, we're getting wicks going down, wicks pushing up. So this is literally side. Let's check higher time frame. What do we got? All right, on the 30-minute, it says that we are maybe exiting we're above the water, but possibly entering a weak bear cycle. A weak bear cycle means continuation up. We could either be starting a weak bear cycle or starting a significant down cycle. So we're sideways. We don't know, which is displayed by the price action. But this barcoding, you know, it's going to have a move, right? Remember, whenever we see barcoding like this is liquidity building up. This is liquidity building up. Let me, this is probably wrong. So let's try to identify the microstructure that's going to play out for the direction we want. Okay. So our blue line's pointing above, our MACD line's pointing up. It looks like we got a strong candle close above our magenta. Okay. We'll put our stop below this 5301 and see how it works. This is just a test, right? The test of 2, confidence level 2. A break and retest would have been a little more confidence building. But so we're going to do this test to see if we should wait for break and retest or if you should just go in and hold for dear life at your stop. So just be patient. I'll be right back. Let's take bets in the chat if magenta is going to be the up for the day. Not real money. All right. So if your trade's not protected by now, nothing I can do for you. If you didn't protect this trade, there's nothing I can do for you. Are we printing money? Are we printing money? Are we printing money on the break of magenta here? If you didn't collect, there's nothing I can do. You needed to survive one red candle here before the profit rolled in. I told you this is going to be good liquidity. Here it is. Now look, here's the thing. Let's say you lost this trade. You can't be upset and then cry and say, oh man, trading isn't for me, or the stock market set up against me, or whatever it is that the emotional stuff we go inside of our head and tell ourselves, like whatever it is you're doing, telling yourself, if you don't have rules set up, if you don't have a system set up and you don't follow those rules and follow that system, you're never going to know if you can be profitable. That's why we took the challenge, right? We took the test. It works. You can make money here. And if you wanted to get out, you can get out. You can take your money and leave for the day, or you learn how to hold and let, see if this blue line and this, and then maybe you get out when this blue and this orange crosses. Let's see if you get comfortable with that sort of stuff. Just holding and waiting. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Or if you only collect $1, then you collect only $1. Oh well. Let's see if we get a retest here. But this, you know, you could have made money. Break up 53.44 to 53.86. That's good money. And it's still going up, right? Look at the money. Look at the money we're printing right now. And if you got it wrong here, oh well. Our stop was, where was it? Down here. Our stop was at 53.01, right underneath it, right? You give it a little bit of space. This is our stop, and we had to give this a little bit of room just in case if it wanted to reject off a pink one last or magenta one last time. That's why your stop needed to be here. But if you didn't make money here within the range, because we know we're in a range, and you got to be, you know, Johnny on the spot if you want to collect money. While you're in the range, you got to collect money. You can't just sit there and let it go. You got to protect your trades. For stop hunts, that's why we collect. Oh, geez. Okay, short-lived gain right there. Oh my goodness, look at this. And you got to be okay with it, right? You got to be okay with it. As long as you manage your risk, you stop out appropriately. You don't, you know, we know we're in the range. You have to follow these stops. All right, let's see if we get if we break the range and head like that. So hopefully you're identifying when you're in a range, you got to protect your trades. You have to protect your trades as soon as possible. And if it goes against you and you get an opportunity to go back in, then go back in. I didn't get a chance to mark off purple, but purple would have been our down. So it's a level 2 because we're still inside the range. I'll be right back. I'm here. I'm just going to be quiet for a second. Yeah, we had big economic news today, so the market's trying to settle out because it's conflicting information. So just give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Blue has a 3 on it. don't let the big candles fool you, because there's still going to be market structure, right? So look, we still have to look out for to see if this is going to play out. There's still market structure, so you can't let these big candles fool you. Everything's still in place, right? All of this is still in place. So we're at our 50-50 right now to know if it's going to bolt or if it's going to shoulder, right shoulder. So just be patient. Look at the candles. You can't, look at the environment you're in. This is a very difficult environment to trade in. And there's so many algos in here. It's, yeah. There's another one in here. I want to put it up, but I'm not going to because it's just going to be too much on the screen. We're at VWAP, so look at the range on the 30-minute. Look at the pink range on the 30-minute. So if you're trading within the range, you know, you got to chase all your profits. On the 5-minute, we're above the water, but it look, you know, we're in a bear cycle here in the 5-minute. Let's get this 5-minute chart set up. Okay, so look at the 5-minute chart. Possible wedge forming here. See the wedge on the 5-minute? So possibly a wedge between, I'll just give it a 2 and a 3 just so you can see. A wedge in here. Does everyone see that? Look at this. This is difficult. This is difficult to trade in. Clean up the chart just a bit. There's a lot of good liquidity built up in both directions. I can't get this purple. It's somewhere. It's not. It's something like this, but it's not exactly this. I can't exactly find it. But this is a roundabout. This purple's not exact. I can't find it exactly. But it looks better on the 5-minute. We're still in opening candle. You didn't miss anything. I'm going to turn off VWAP. I don't want to rely on this too much. All right, I want everyone to pay attention to this pattern right here that I'm about to draw. See this pattern? Remember this pattern right here. Remember this pattern right here. I call this a breathe. Remember this breathe. Breathe like as if you're breathing air. Remember this pattern. It kind of looks like maybe a shark fin or upside down shark fin or upside down wave or something like that. Remember this right here. Look what it looks like. All right, let's see how much we can get off of blue. A nice retest would be nice. We're gonna target pink. Damn, everybody waited for the 3. Everybody waited for 3. That's good. You guys are understanding risk. Now you're understanding risk. I don't just put up random 2s and 3s for no reason. I'm telling you, you know, my confidence level in it. And if 3 didn't work, I wouldn't have been upset either, because you can't win them all. But we got lucky on magenta. We got lucky on, I wouldn't say luck, but you know, we look at the money. Look at the money. There it is. There it is. Look at your MACD. Don't overstay your welcome, right? So eventually when you're on multiple contracts, you'll understand better how to just collect the money now, and we'll go over management of multiple contracts later. Let's get the account where it needs to be. But I would like everyone to look at this pattern I'm drawing here. Look at this pattern. I call this a breathe. Breathe like you're taking air. I'll show you some more as time goes on. Another pattern that I've seen a lot of success with is if you see like a momentum candle like this, and then you get two red candles coming back to retest. I've seen a lot of times that it's a good opportunity to get it. Look at the money we just printed. Look at it. Easy money. We didn't have to even really stress. No stress, stress-free trading. There goes the money. Don't be greedy. Don't overstay your welcome. Don't overstay your welcome. They just needed to soak up some liquidity from somewhere, right? So before they go up, they have to go down. So we have to be aware of both of our entries for exits or for calls and puts. You got to be aware of where you're, you know, when the play is done. Like, oh, okay, this didn't work out for me. This is why I gave you the homework the other day of understanding market structure. Knowing when a head and shoulders is valid or when a cup and handle's invalid. You have to know these rules. You know, and I'm, as we go on, I'm teaching you, but I don't know if you're actually like picking it up. So sometimes maybe a different way to hear it will make it click better. But if you're having troubles and struggling with those rules, take a quick Google search and look that up. When is it a break of structure or a break of character? Because then you'll know where your stops need to be. And there's some, you know, there's some work you're going to have to do on your own. You can't rely on me for every single thing. But look at this money we printed here. Look at this money. This is great money. Almost to the target exactly, right? And then when we get above the target, you're going to want to wait for a break and retest. Yeah, just got to be patient. If you're willing to allow this to cross, you're probably going to have better success with allowing your winners to win. You know, if you like this right here, this one candle could have really messed you up. And there's nothing you could have done about it. Because look at this. Inside the blue, this is just a liquidity grab. Whenever you see something like this, liquidity grab. They knew the direction. They knew exactly how much they needed to sell in order to trigger some stop losses to get the price to go up. They know this stuff already. Now, if you can hold on for these red candles and allow, you know, a little retracement, a little pullback, right? Because we need that pullback in order to gain strength. We need to stop everybody out to keep going up. So if you cook out your profits, look, you see, you don't cook out your profit. You let it sit there and all right. Look at the money we printed. There it is. There it is. I'm sitting here walking it through with you. We're doing it together. I'm telling you, wait for this to close, right? You're going to maximize your profit. And then once you reach certain levels, then you start moving your stops, right? So from this blue, now you should start moving your stop to underneath pink. Now that you've given yourself some room to collect profit, this is how you maximize your trade. So if you do take a loss, you can afford the loss now, right? You can afford the loss. But if you don't allow your winners to win, you're never going to be able to afford your losses. Never. It's just never going to be a thing. So now we got above this key level. You got to give it some room to get above the key level, establish itself as support, right? Look how far away the MACD and the signal line are. You shouldn't even be touching your, you know, you should be, you got to allow your winners to win. Look how much we're winning right now. I hope everyone's listening to me and not just moving your stop. You have to allow this stuff to win. Look at the win. Look at the win we had. Even if you would have taken a loss, you can't lose twice in a row. And this win would have, it had to have made you green for the day, because there's not enough movement to take a loss big enough yet. Look at unless you messed up your contract size, but look at the money we printed. Easy money. All right. If you got stopped out there, that was a good trade. That was a good trade. Nothing you can do about that, right? You know, technically we're above the water, right? And if we followed our MACD lesson from, what was it, yesterday, you're above the water. There's no reason to actually move your stop right now. No reason to move your stop. But single contracts, that's a good trade to build your confidence. Now, at this point, you should be learning how to learning how to play out the rest of the play. Now that you know your entries, now that you know to let it breathe a little bit, here's the next step. Now you got to learn to let the rest play out. Now this is going to take some time, right? This is where it takes time, and you're going to have to be really rigid with your rules. Cuz technically, you know, you got to be able to survive a pullback all the way back down to blue here. But here's the next setup. Let's see. We want to look for that, and maybe this right here. But this was an amazing trade right here. This from blue with a confidence level 3, it doesn't get any better. Does not get any better. Now look what's happening. Look how it's playing out. Remember what I was saying? We're above the water. No reason to leave the trade yet. There's no reason to leave the trade. Because you could have a bear cycle here that actually trends up. You can have a bear cycle that actually goes up. So when you're above the water like this, I don't know. You gotta. This is where you need to figure out your trading style. Do you want to get in and get out and wait for a weak bear to get back in again, or can you hold? That's where you need to figure out your trading style. Do you want to get in and get out, collect your profit, or are you the type that you can hold? Okay, Lee, waited for pink. Let's see. I didn't finish your message. Okay, good. You made money. You didn't give up on the trade. Good. Hell yeah. Yeah, and this thing that we have are like, oh, I think I missed the trade just because 30 seconds went by. If you see blue broke and you're like, oh no, I missed the trade because 30 seconds went by, then you're missing the point. That's not how it works. But now you're understanding, right? Now you're getting it. It's okay to be, a couple seconds late. But, if you're entering at a key level, I don't agree with that, right? If you're going to enter at a key level, probably a bad idea. If you're entering at the top, not a good idea. Okay, look, do you see, look what happened in the MACD, right? When we thought it was gonna, look how small the volume was, but look, it still gave us enough strength to get back up to, close to the high a day. Okay, look, do you see how if you wait for this to cross, how you can still collect more money? If you waited for this to cross, it still hasn't crossed yet. Do you see how if you waited for this MACD to cross, now it's starting to touch. It still technically hasn't crossed. Now you want to see if this forms support, right? If we don't get back down below pink, now we want to see if it forms support. If it forms support, then we're probably going to have a weak bear cycle, which means we're going to have continuation up. You see how easy this is? There's rules to it. There's rules. If you know the rules and you play by the rules, you will succeed over the long term. It doesn't mean every single trade has to work. That's not how any of this works. All of your trades don't have to work. We just need to make sure that our profit outweighs our loss. That's all we need to do. And we do that with proper risk management. We do that with identifying algorithms, identifying liquidity levels, identifying key levels. We do it every single day. Look, we're still above the water. Even though you're above the water, look what's happening to the price. Because you're in an uptrend. This is what I was showing you yesterday. Look, and you see how it didn't cross? Look how it didn't cross. It still didn't cross. This is what I'm telling you yesterday. Use it to your advantage. The indicators, we can use it. We can't use it to trade off of, but we can use it somewhat, right? You can't use it for entries, but we can use it for exits sometimes. Look, it's still above the water. No reason to leave the trade. This is what I was telling you yesterday. You're above the water. And I even showed you, remember I drew the arrows showing that when it cracked above the zero line? Look, it's the same exact thing. It's the same exact thing from yesterday. Go look at the picture from yesterday. It's going to be a momentum candle that breaks whatever the algo I said it was. The same exact thing. And then it never went below because you're in an uptrend. So uptrends have pullbacks. So if you're getting out without the going back below the zero line, you're not allowing your trades to breathe properly, which is a strategy, right? I'm not saying it's wrong. What I'm saying is you're not allowing it to get as much as you could in that contract. But I know secured money. It's going to take time to build up the confidence to hold like this, like I am. It's going to take time to hold or to build that confidence. But that wedge worked out pretty good. I'm really glad we spotted it at the last second. Yeah, this worked out pretty good. This worked out pretty good. That's why we got off the 5 minute. And target is 654.82. You see how the 5 minute, we got off the 5 minute. Don't allow the 1 minute to mess up your trade. Look at the 5 minute. You would have never left this trade on the 5 minute. You would have never left this trade on the 5 minute. It's because you're using the 1 minute to trade off of or to guide off of instead of the 5 minute. Now let's see if this forms some support here. Okay, do you see how it crossed? Now it crossed. Look at the cross. So if you took profit here on the what candle is this? 1016? Okay. That is the best trade you could possibly take from the break of blue. Okay, so you manage your risk appropriately. I stopped out. Half my contracts were right above pink. The other half I was following. I was chasing. So, okay, good trade. Excellent trade. So we're going to look for a weak bear cycle for continuation up. So we want to see if this crosses back while it's still above the zero line for continuation. But this candle stopped me out. But this was an amazing trade. This is the stuff dreams are made of. It was perfect. Look at all the green. We didn't even have any red until target, right? The target was the major red one. So this is an excellent trade. And look, you're still above the water. You can't let these red candles fool you when you're above the water. And remember I told you, you're going to have to rewind the tape, that technically it can come all the way back down to blue. This week bear cycle come all the way back down to blue. Rewind the tape. Definitely said it. So you have to understand structures. When you understand the structures, you'll know where your risk management is. You'll know how to maximize the profit or when the trade's done. And if you remember from even earlier, when we had our boxes drawn, right? We had this, and at the time we had this, and we were saying, is it going to be that? It was a little tricky in here, but you see this was tough structure to see this. This was tough, I'm not going to lie. It would have been nice to see some type of microstructure in here. Like maybe something like that, but it was impossible to see it, at least in the 1 minute. Okay, so pink forms some type of support here, maybe. Like I said, we want to see this weak bear cycle. So we'll know if it's a weak bear cycle when this blue line crosses back above the orange line. So until then, you can't classify it a weak bear cycle, meaning you can't classify the continuation up. So if you take a step back and look, all we had was, it's not perfect, but it's really close to it. But it looks like a bull flag. Here's the flag staff. Here's the actual flag. So it looks like just a big bull flag. It's really hard to see though, because the volatility in the morning was kind of hectic. But we made it, right? We made our green day. We did our job for the day. Let this volatility set, or this settle out a little bit. We see we're in a liquidity pocket right here. Um, 5480 is possibly the target here. You know, you have to ask yourself, do you see a microstructure within this liquidity level? Is this going to give us the strength to get to profit target? We need to see if this is going to cross, or is it going to continue? Is it going to spread open, or is it going to cross? Now, if they cross these legs, is one thing. If they spread them open for you, let's see what happens. Pay attention to this MACD down here. I'll be right back. Don't overtrade. Let's take bets in the chat. Who is it going to go up or down? Okay, so if you're betting on to see if this was support or not, we needed to break out of this liquidity level. So your entry would have been if we would have continued up this way, above this liquidity level. So this candle right here, this green candle was important, because this was the last one before we broke the level. The whole point of the exercise was so you understand, it doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what you're guessing. What we should do is stop guessing. Stop trying to assume which way the market's going to go and just let the market tell us. You see your liquidity boxes, let it tell you what it's going to do. There's no reason to try to guess it. You're going to give yourself a bias. But if I was a gambling man, I would have bet up too. I would have bet on the upside too if I was a gambling man. But I'm not. So let's see if we build up some more liquidity in... We're going to stick to our rules. We're going to build liquidity in this magenta and then see if we break blue. So we're going to look for deeper structure, right? Maybe this one was too thin. Maybe we want to look for this and then test this and then break it up here. So let's look for deeper structure. Oh, I didn't want to erase that. So now if we reject off of here, then this might be our, right? If we reject off of this liquidity level, then this might be our head forming here for our shoulder. Or maybe this, well, yeah, I would take this shoulder. So this is the deep structure if we're going to continue up. So let's wait. Now we're still above the water. Technically, we're still above the water. So we're waiting to see if this weak bear cycle plays out, or if we get below the water and then start a weak bull cycle. Okay, break a purple. Break a purple. Liquidity. Purple had really good liquidity built up in it. Look at purple. You see where the flexion point was? Let's see how much we can get out of this. So now we're below the water. Or no, we're just getting to the zero line now. We're just getting there now, but it looks like the legs are spreading open. So we'll see if these legs spread open anymore if we stay inside magenta. So the fade happened here. This was a little tricky because it looked like it wanted to head up right here. I'm still here, I'm just being quiet. Here's something I want to point out really quick, is that look when we got below the water on this candle at 1033 candle, we got below the water around here. I just want you to see that because we got below the water, even though we have this green candle like this, because we're below the water, the green doesn't have strength. You have more, the current is pulling you down. That's what I was saying. If you're below the water, if you're in a put on the break of purple, and if you're below the water, right? This is confluence. We have the break of purple plus we're below the water. This is confluence. Look at the money on break of purple. Now, if you waited for break of purple, then your best bet is to wait until the MACD and the blue line crosses. I mean, you can take profit whenever you want, but in order to try to maximize it, one method is to wait for this to cross. And you saw how that happened on the call setup over here. So look, break of purple. Okay, I want to show everyone why this worked. This is very classic, very easy. I just want to show everyone why this worked. I'm going to clean up the chart just a bit really quick. Or I'll just leave it. This is why this worked. The liquidity in blue. Look at all this liquidity in blue. Look at all this. Remember I told you that all that liquidity in blue is what gave us the strength that when we broke blue, we went to the target. And then look, all this liquidity in purple, that when we broke purple, we had enough strength. So understand your liquidity, how much liquidity is being built up. Look at the money that's being printed from break of purple. Look at the money that's being printed from break of purple. You don't have to get out until it closes again. Please tell me someone took break of purple. This guy wants to go touch the 5. Jesus Christ. This guy wants a 20-point run. Ron is greedy. Ron wants to go touch the 5. He's targeting the 5. I'm going to target this pink right here, Ron. I'm going to be a little more realistic, Ron. Look at the money we printed on break of purple. Remember, purple's highlighted. Purple's highlighted. Now I want you to pay attention. You see a strong green candle. Let's see how, and the MACD, how it still hasn't closed yet. Let's see if it would have been worth it to get out now or to wait on the break of this magenta. Let's see if you get out now because you see a big green candle, or if you wait for this to close, or if you wait for the break of magenta, which is better. Let's see. So it is pointing up. The blue line is pointing up, but it hasn't crossed yet, technically. So now you can start testing theses out, right? What should I have done? Which is more profitable? Should I wait for this to close? Should I wait for the break of this? Can I extract a little more money? Because you're below the 0 line. Maybe you're going to have a weak bull cycle. Should you have waited for the cross? Look. Should you have got out already? Could you have made more money? Look what's happening. This is what you need to start asking yourself. Start running through these scenarios right now. If you took the break of purple, what are you waiting? What is your exit? How does that look? Right? We have the guardrails here. So that's one way to exit. Another way is to use your MACD. Another way is to use your own risk management. Like, I want to make this much money. I'm willing to take this much money. Look, it still hasn't crossed. If you would have got out on this one green candle, look, you would have ruined your opportunity. Look, one green candle. Look, that's what I'm trying to explain to you. Maybe you should allow it to cross. Maybe. Just try it. Who knows? I don't know. Or at least it'll give you another bite at the apple, right? If you don't take yourself out too early, it'll give you another bite at the apple. Okay, now it is about to cross. So, you know you're within the range. You got to take your money. You got to take your money. Don't overstay your welcome. But break of purple, that was a good win. Let's see. 53.95 to 53.40. That was a good win. Half a point move. So now, I know this looks sketchy that we're starting our bull cycle on this head right here. So just be careful here. It is lining up perfect, but just be careful. Don't get overconfident. Because we could easily just start chopping sideways. But also, you know, if blue was our move for the day, then blue was our move. We don't need to keep trying to extract every single dime. You're going to get greedy and it's going to ruin your account. All right, everyone in Discord, let me make sure everyone's paying attention. Everyone. I want everyone to pay attention here. Sammy and JWoww, what is going on? Okay, I can't leave you guys alone. Okay, watch this really quick. I want everyone to pay attention to what's going on. So, remember this pattern right here that we had? Remember that pattern, right? Ask yourself, are we going to see that pattern again? So, let me do it one more time. Look at this pattern. Look, see, I just copied it from over here. We want to see something like that happen again, maybe on a smaller time scale. That's give you an idea. So remember this breathe, right? Remember I called it a breathe? Remember what it looks like. So if you start seeing that over here, that's the breathe, that's the pattern. You'll get more confirmation or confidence on the pattern when we get closer to the blue. Now remember what I asked you maybe 5 minutes ago. Would it be better to get out on the 1039 candle because you see a big red one? Should you get out just because you feel comfortable? Should you get out because the MACD closed? Or should you wait for the break of magenta? The guardrails that I put up. Look at the guardrail. So if you would have got out here, you would have missed the opportunity to collect that we're still inside the magenta. We never broke magenta. Look, we're still inside magenta. So as long as you're inside the magenta, you know there's going to be action inside of it. Once you start breaking magenta, that's your clue, right? So your hint is going to be the break in magenta, right? We want to build a magenta and then break the blue. Our confirmation is going to be the break of blue. So that should look like this. Our hint is when we break magenta. Our confirmation is when we break blue. You see it? I'll be right back. Don't overtrade. We didn't close above magenta yet. Be patient. Be patient. You know what the triggers are. Just wait. Maybe a good exercise right now is to define your entries, define your exits, paper trade it, and see what happens. You have no risk right now if you paper trade right now. define your entries, and then execute that entry on a paper trade. Just execute the plan and see what happens. Just try it. Paper trader right now. Are we going to have a weak bull cycle? Is it going to continue down? Right? You're kind of in the middle of the water here. You don't know yet. We got to see which way we fade here, but we kind of have a big range. So let's see which way we fade here. Look, remember I was telling you, do you exit your position because you see a green candle? Do you exit because MACD crossed? Do you exit because we're still inside magenta? This is what you need to ask yourself. Do you see how you got another bite at the apple if you didn't take yourself? Even though this green candle, you still didn't reach it, you still got another bite at the apple. So you can't let retracement scare you out. Have your rules set. If your rule is magenta, let that be your rule. If your rule is I've taken enough profit, let that be your rule. But once you establish your rules, don't go back and be upset that you didn't collect more or that whatever. You can't be upset, because that type of mentality and thinking will ruin your trades, your next trades. Now ask yourself, are we rejecting off of magenta while going into a weak bull cycle? You need to ask yourself these questions, because you know what the answer is. Now, we're in this liquidity box, so here's the thing. The MACD is trending up. It's trending up. But if we start pointing down, if both of these things, if the blue line and the orange line start pointing down, you better think down. If they both start pointing up, you better think up. Right now, one of them's going sideways, but they're kind of trending up. But we don't know if they want to grab liquidity to... it's fading down, right? But it's trending up, so you're sideways. Just look at the price action. What is the price action actually doing? It's staying inside magenta. We're seeing rejection. We're not seeing the strength pull up. Define your entries and your exits now. Paper trade it. So for example, you may be like, okay, on the break of magenta, I'll wait until break of blue before I go long. Or maybe on the break of 553.49, I'll go in short because I'll see maybe a little inverse head and shoulders, right? So identify what your entries are. Do you see, now look, do you see how the guardrail would have helped you out much better on the trade on the break of purple? Look how the guardrail of magenta would have made you more money than getting out on green, would have made you more money than the MACD would have worked because it was a weak bear. A weak bull. It was a weak bull cycle, so that would have worked. But you would have had to hold for the retracement, right? Remember, every weak bull cycle or bear cycle is just continuation. You see how it never went back above and we cross while we're still below? That means it's continuation. This is the bolt. So every week, whatever cycle this is, whether it be bear or bull, is a bolt. That's your flexion for continuation. Does everyone learn that? Everyone see that? I just gave everyone the goddamn sauce. And this is how easy this could be. Now, identifying the algorithms, that's going to be the hard part, right? That's the hard part. It's not always easy. And it's not literally just connecting tops and bottoms. If it were that easy, everyone would be rich. It's not that easy. Look at the money we printed from Break of Purple. Look, you're still below the waterline. No reason to exit the trade. You're below the waterline. We got below exactly on purple. I remember saying, do we have confluence here? Are we breaking purple, which is a major liquidity level? And we knew it was major liquidity because I drew this, right? Are we breaking purple while also going below the zero line? And now are we going to have a weak bull cycle for continuation down to the pink, right? The target from purple is pink. This was very simple, very easy. We never closed above magenta, not convincingly at least. This is why I put the guardrails for you. So I think in this instance, magenta would have been the guardrail for you. But this is why I put them up. Eventually you're going to learn to use it. You'll learn to have confidence with it. Now we're really close to target. I'm seeing this maybe hammer candle coming in. So maybe this move is done. I'll wait for break of magenta and then exit trade. Because I know that break in magenta is my hint that we're looking at blue now. I'll probably take profit right here. Okay, good trade. Good trade. You know, I should have got in here when I saw this candle, when I saw this hammer candle right here, but that's fine. That was a good trade. We're going to move on to the next one. Look at this perfect bolt. Look how perfect this bolt was. Absolutely perfect bolt. You know, the entry for the longs would have been by blue. So it had to be the rejection of magenta. Also, you know, like I just showed you that miniature cup and handle showing you that we had continuation. All right, I'm gonna clean up the chart just a bit. That play worked out absolutely excellent. If we're gonna, oh, did it just stop me out for no reason? Okay. All right. Well, it looks like I got stopped out for no reason. Any puts? Look for a break and retest. There's a secondary liquidity between 01 and 23. There's a secondary liquidity in here, so be careful in here. I'm probably done trading for the day because that just messed me up. Yeah, I'm done for the day. We need to expect this, right? Because we see how it reacted over here. We knew this was going to be a little bit hectic. Let's look for the breathe. Look for this. Let's go back to the 5 minute. Yeah, this 5 minute was very telling. The 5 minute actually showed you that. Oh no, because you had this candle right here. So this candle made you think something. This hammer candle probably made you think something. Yeah, so that's reasonable to think up based on the 5. Now let's see if we break this blue liquidity. All right, so we actually have yellow and blue that might want to break. Maybe some more downside here. Oh, look at magenta putting in work, man. Look at magenta, and I let this stop me out. Ah, so frustrating. That's frustrating. And I let one candle stop me out. I wanted to wait for this target. I should have just waited for my target. It's okay. I'm not going to get upset. It's fine. Okay, let's see who. Oh, you're in the put. You want this put to spread. So the good thing about being below the water is, even if it doesn't spread, you're still below the water. So you can hope for a weak bull cycle. Orange. What do you mean you're waiting on orange? What are you talking about orange? Where's orange? I don't see no orange. Oh, on range. Sorry. That's on range. My bad. I saw orange. Hey, don't get old. Do not get old. It's such a bad thing. You just start making shit up in your head and going with it like it's real. Orange? I don't even like oranges. What are you talking about? Learn to read. My bad. Bro, is it gonna hit the target? Is it gonna hit the target? Oh, come on. Okay, victim of my own. Look at this candle. Stop me out. We went right back inside of magenta. If it doesn't hit target, I'm not going to be upset. But if it hits target, I might be upset. Let all this liquidity clear out from this right here. So here, let me draw your box. Look to see if we fade this way or if we start fading this way. I'll be right back. Don't overtrade. All right, while we're chopping sideways, I'm going to make our win list for the day. I'm going to include blue, obviously, and purple. I think it's all we got for right now, blue and purple. So I'll make this, I'm going to clean up this chart really quick, and then I'll put it all back. Just give me a second. Okay, I posted the wins for the day. The solid wins. If you took any other ones, I didn't post your personal wins, but the call outs, I posted those in there. Let me get back to it. Okay, so look, let me. Just to show you how structure always plays out, or, you know, most of the time plays out. Watch this. Look, remember this bolt that I drew? I drew this bolt. And then I even said, look out for the microstructure. Look, boom, boom, boom. Remember that? So your entry on this play would have been at 53.53, right? Once we close the cup. Look, we're still below the water. No reason to leave the trade. We just went over this yesterday. We're still below the water. Who was asking that? I think Sonny was asking. Or Sonny was saying something about it. We're still below the water. No reason to leave the trade. Look. When do we go below? Right here. On maybe something that looks like a momentum candle, right? Look at this candle right next to it. Candle, candle. Break of blue, break of purple. This was amazing. That was perfect. This was absolutely perfect. Because we caught the entire head, right? You see the head? We caught this entire head up. And then we're catching the whole shoulder down. I think we just missed out on this little bit right here. But we needed confirmation, right? I think everyone had put our sights on the up. But just goes to show you, don't have any bias. No reason for it. The charts will tell you. You don't need to guess. Okay, now we hit the target. And I got stopped out on a green candle. And we hit target. God darn it. We're still below the water. No reason to leave the trade. We just went over this yesterday. Okay, yeah, so on the 5, if you took the break of blue or break of yellow, I'm pretty sure I said something about it. Okay, your 5-minute is hitting pretty nice. Look at the 5-minute chart. Break of blue. That 5-minute chart hit. Look at that. Break of blue and break of yellow. So it was 2 at the same time. This was a good move. Look at the money. Look at the money. We're entering our second liquidity level. Man, we had a pretty good day today. What the hell's going on? Really good technical day. It was a little bit choppy in the morning. It got sketchy right here, but after that, easy technical. If you waited for the break of pink, there's money for you right there. You're in the secondary liquidity. Let's see if we break and retest it. Now the cup is closed, right? So look, we close this cup. So either we bounce here or we do that. This magenta was off just by a little bit, but I'm not going to move it. Good. Take your wins and call it. Take your wins and call it. Yep. There you go. That's how you build your account. You don't sit here and trade all day. You take your money. And especially the morning session, like, this is our money. Look at the movement we had here. We were able to collect blue and break a purple. I mean, this is an excellent trading day. You can't ask for anything better. You can't ask for a better day than this. Okay, if you didn't know there was going to be a bounce here, that's literally impossible. That's literally impossible because I drew it. You had to know there was going to be a bounce here. Right? The cup closed. You see the big cup? There's a bigger one down here. Oh, which is actually targeting the bottom pink. This magenta is really holding up, so let's see what happens on the break of this magenta here. Plenty of liquidity built up in magenta as well. So don't stay focused on the down, right? You can't stay focused on the down. I'm showing you what the setups look like if it is going down. You also have to watch out for this, right? Watch. And look how this would be a 50-50 right here. You see how this could be a 50-50? The 50-50 from this possibility here, or if this is going to grab liquidity to head up. So we're in our secondary liquidity. Still below the water. Be patient. So ideally, I'd like to see this cup close like this with this structure that I have here. The other option is that it's gonna break through, retest like what I drew before. And then we have low a day. I'm gonna mark out low a day really quick. I'll mark out low a day, and we'll put it. We'll put white. I'll put low a day in red there. Still below the water. Still below water. No reason to leave the trade. We haven't broken magenta. We're still in magenta. Still below the water, still in magenta. No reason to leave the trade. No reason to leave the trade. Look at the money that's being printed. We're going to close this other cup. 652.41 most likely. Okay, we hit low a day on the red. I made it red to show you low a day. And let's see if we break straight through low a day. I like this wick. Okay. Oh man, it doesn't want to break low a day. Let's at least break low a day and get to pink. Okay. Let's see. So I've noticed that everyone in the Discord is getting, there we go. Let's go. Everyone in the Discord is getting better. Now we're going to start to work on holding your trades longer. Your entries are getting better. You're identifying your risk better. We just need to work on holding the trades longer. You're going to see a big difference in your P&L. Or you're going to start taking home more consistent profits weekly instead of eating away or eroding your account by the end of the week. You'll see. I'm slowly so first I wanted to teach you entries. Now I'm going to teach you exits. Hopefully we're getting better. I see we're getting better entries. Now I notice that a lot more of us are coming out green at the end of the day. Look at the money we just printed. Look at this money. Look at the money. Let's go to target. Come on. We're still below the water. Look at the money we just printed. Let's go. Don't worry. You didn't miss anything. Stop saying you didn't miss anything. You didn't miss anything. Even if you wanted to right now, you know the target, where the target is. You can get in right now and make something. I'm not telling you to do that, but I'm just giving you, just saying. Look, even you injured right now, you would have made money right then. Look, right now. So this fear we have of, you know what? Take your time. Take your time. Don't rush this. Don't rush this. Take your time. Don't trade at my risk tolerance. Trade at your risk tolerance. And your risk tolerance will grow as time goes on. You just got to give it time. You just got to give it time. This is not a get rich quick scheme. But I'm pretty sure everyone in the Discord knows it is viable. This is a thing. It's a real thing. We can make a living off of this and not actually work. And we do it every day. We show it every day. Let's continue. Still below the water. Still inside this magenta. No reason to leave. Don't forget, this is still a possibility. Right? We always have to be aware of of what our entries are for the other way. Let's check out the higher time frames. So break of blue, this one worked out absolutely perfect. Look at break of blue on the 5 minute. That was a winner. Yeah, this 5 minute still has strength down. This 5 minute still has strength down. Risky call, scalp call. Maybe if it gets above red again, 652. I'm gonna move the lower day. This red is just lower day. Actually, I'll put it back because I think people were using it. Let's see if this revenge call, if we get above this 5270, let's see if we revenge call. A revenge call is a short, quick in and out entry to see if you can get something. If we get above red, I might try a revenge call. Just a quick little scout. I'll put my stop really tight so it doesn't, not going to affect my bottom line. Just to see if we can get something. We made money today. We got a little bit of gamble money. All right, let's try our luck. You better believe I'm chasing this. I'm not going to let it go against me. Look at the money on a revenge call. I was targeting blue, so we'll see what's going to happen now. Come on. So my entry was on red, so now I'm protected. Can't lose from here. Come on, let's see. Let's see if we can get a little bit more. I'm gonna move inside of profit, I can't even, you know, I'll even take profit even with fees. So now I'm just gonna let it run because I can't lose because I was early. I was early on the trade. Can't lose from here, so I don't care what happens. And if I need to get back in, I'll get back in. Come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's go. Look, I told everyone I'm buying a call, and I said exactly when. On the break of this red, I bought the call. If you didn't buy the call, I don't know what to, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. I told you I was gonna do it. There, look at the money. Look at the money we're printing. Now, if we get above the waterline here, I'm gonna let it run. But for right now, because we're so far below, I'm gonna chase it. Look at the money we just printed on a revenge call. I told you what to do. If you didn't take the trade, nothing I can do. Don't overstay your welcome because you're in a strong downtrend. Well, we're still below the water, Ron, so it doesn't mean that it's gonna... If we get above pink, then I'll start thinking different. Okay, I got stopped when it went below this blue. We'll see if it closes. Yep, stopped on blue. Okay. That was I knew not to overstay my welcome. I got in, I got out. Took whatever I can get, got out. Oh my goodness. And look, blue. Look at blue. I might get back in. We'll see. No. No. This scalp was a quick scalp just to get something because I knew it was going to be a retracement. You're still below the water. Yeah, you're still below the water. So, like I said, when you get up to pink, then you might want to start thinking about exiting. Yeah, this call from here to here, that was a quick scalp for me. I wasn't gonna, because we're fighting the trend, I wasn't gonna stay in that long. That was literally just a quick scalp just to make some money, a quick go at it. This would have been the safe entry, right? Blue is the safe entry for the long, for calls. Oh, okay, I can see this blue too. I'll move it from here because that was at that time. We'll do it here. Still below the water. No reason to leave the trade, right? Nothing's changed from yesterday. You don't want to fight the trend. You go with the trend. This was a quick scalp because I just knew, right? Eventually you'll understand where your risks are. Still below the water. No reason to leave the trade. We went over this yesterday. Okay. Cup closed. Cup closed. Bigger cup closed. Let's see if we get a this cup right here. Continuation would be under pink. Profit target hit from low a day to profit target. So the next profit target is going to be pink. But we see there's liquidity built up right there. We need to take out first. Still below the water, maybe entering a bear cycle. So let's see if we target pink. It hasn't closed yet, so don't get overconfident. It didn't close yet. Still below the water. I'll be right back. Don't overtrade. We're still in magenta, by the way. Okay, we might be breaking magenta. Let's see if we get back above low a day. Because we see we have our liquidity box there and one down here. Clean up the chart just a bit. if we start doing this, hold on. I just put a 2. I was trying to do too much. I just put a 2 on this blue right here. I was trying to do too much. If you want to wait till we get above 53.01. Okay, break a blue. Oh no, what? Oh shit. I was just about to go take a trade and I fucking fucked up. I'll be right back. Don't overtrade. Okay, I got another few minutes on here that I have to get off. I want to see if this, if I can get a rejection off of this. So I took the break of blue. So now we're trailing underneath pink. We took this break of blue here. So now we're just letting it play out. Now we want to see if we're going to have something like this. Look at the money we're printing right now from break of this blue. It was a confidence level 2, but eesh. But when you know, you know. Look at the money we just printed. Look at this money. From the blue? Oh, come on now. Look at all the money we just printed. Look at this money. And remember I told you I was looking for the rejection off of pink. Now let's hope we get above blue. I'm going to move my stop inside of blue. We still haven't closed on the MACD. I'll wait for this to close. Don't forget, we put this shoulder here a very long time ago. See what's happening? So let's see if we break blue, retrace, and then to form this shoulder. This is what I would prefer if we made the shoulder here. Meaning like inside the blue right now. That'll be great. Because if it breaks blue, then here's what we got to worry about. If it breaks blue and just shoots up straight to pink, then I'm probably gonna miss out because I want to wait for a retest, a break and retest. So I'm glad this red candle happened right here. So if you take break of this blue, you got to be either holding for the break and retest, and you see where your stop needs to be, how low on the blue it needs to go. But here's what you got to watch out for. So the rejection of this blue is going to give us this, watch. You see that? It could be a longer term bolt down if this blue rejects. That's why you want to see a break, retest, and reject off of blue here. because we're watching out for this bolt, for the bolt down. So you see what the two scenarios are. And, you know, also the third, we just get stuck in pink. Now we're about to start this bear cycle, so if we get a weak bear cycle, let's hope the weak bear cycle travels along blue, and then our bull cycle starts again while we're above the water to give us continuation to pink. Pink, 54.23. So we need, let's see, we have liquidity level here, liquidity level here. Okay. All right, break a blue. Okay, YouTube, that's been my time. It's been a pleasure. Have a great day. If you're interested in learning how to trade like this, send an email to LiveSPYTrading@gmail.com and I will get you sorted out. I'll teach you how to do this. I will enable you to learn as you earn. So send me an email and we'll get you all sorted out. You have a good day.